Welcome, everybody. It's really great to be here with you today. I want to thank you all for being open and ready to learn, and then I hope that you have enjoyed the start, and there's so much more to come. This next discussion, we're going to be diving deep into something that I'm really passionate about, which is the next revolution in gaming is blockchain. Because there's a seismic shift coming in gaming that is being enabled and disrupted by the blockchain and by cryptocurrency. And many of the big gaming companies aren't going to see this disruption coming. And there's a true case of what we speak about at Singularity University, where the disruption is deceptive in the beginning, and you can't really see it coming. So my goal for this talk is to give you an understanding of this new world and some of the incredible opportunities and job creation that lie ahead, and how this will affect the future of work in a massive, massive way. And it all started with a simple story on a Saturday night early in 2021, where I was tired of beating my wife at Monopoly, and I said to her, can't we find a new game to play together so we can, something that's a bit more competitive for me? And she said, go look at something online and see what you can find. So I started researching online, and I stumbled across this game called Axie Infinity, which looked like quite a fun game. You could battle, you could collect, and you can earn. That seemed a bit different for me. There was land, there was AXS, there's a marketplace. I didn't really understand this game. And you could download the alpha beta version on iOS or Android. And the big difference with this game is that it was actually a blockchain game. And it's enabled by this new thing called non-fungible tokens, NFTs. And what NFTs are, they are unique digital assets that you can own. They are NFTs. A fungible token can be recreated, but a non-fungible token can't be recreated. And this changes everything in the gaming world, because previously in the gaming world, when you bought an asset, when you bought a skin in Fortnite, or you bought something in Roblox using your Robux, the asset still remains in the game, and you own it and you access it through the game servers. When you buy an NFT asset in a blockchain game, the asset is now sitting in your wallet, and you can use that asset to trade or sell on the marketplace, or even just hold within your own wallet. So this is a massive paradigm shift and gives the power back to the community and the players. It wasn't available before, but because of this enablement with the blockchain, you are now able to own your gaming assets. And this is what it allows Axie Infinity to have land that people can buy in the game that is finite, that is unique, and that becomes rare and starts gaining value. So this game, Axie Infinity, really talks about being player-owned and a decentralized autonomous organization, a DAO, that it will eventually become. You'll need to own these AXS coins, which are these governance tokens that will give you the right to decide on the direction of the game and the decisions where the game is moving forward. So now this game looks really exciting, and I thought, how do I start playing this game? To start playing this game, you need to actually get a Web3 blockchain crypto wallet. So I went to the nearest one, which is one of the best ones, which is a MetaMask. And a MetaMask wallet enables your Web3. This wallet enables you to act on the web as your own unique address. What MetaMask are doing, they are building this infrastructure for these decentralized applications to connect to apps, so to games, to decentralized finance, or to crypto. And you can store all your NFTs in MetaMask. You can trade, buy, or sell. And this is truly amazing because it totally removes the need for registration on every website, because you can go to a Web3 enabled website and you can just connect your wallet, and then the website immediately knows your identity. But it doesn't have to be your real identity. You can still remain anonymous, or you can be pseudonymous. And as we saw with Snoop Dogg, he remained pseudonymous with his account, where he would be buying all these NFT assets on a platform called OpenSea until he decided to reveal his identity to the public when he launched in the sandbox. So now that I've got my MetaMask set up, I'm ready to play this game. I thought, what's the next step? Well, in order to play Axie Infinity, you have to have 3 characters, and it's play to earn blockchain gaming is this new concept, whereby actually playing the game, you start earning real revenue. In this game specifically, you earn Smooth Love Potion, which is SLP. So every time you win in the game, you win SLP. But to start the game, you need 3 characters, and it costs a couple of $100 to start. So it is quite a big investment to decide if you want to go to play this game. But when I started playing this game, I started researching a bit more, and I found some great examples from the Philippines. Because what happened in the Philippines is that when the pandemic hit, there were many, many people that were out of work and that couldn't find a job and couldn't make ends meet. So people in the Philippines realized that through Axie Infinity, they could start playing and making a living. And currently there are over 250,000 players playing this game in the Philippines. Many of them have bought homes, have bought houses, and they've become very successful playing this game as a play-to-earn game, as a new job in life, as actually playing a game, earning money. And it's real. I did it for a couple of months, earning some decent money out of playing the game just to test it out. And there are these different guilds that have been set up to help and assist players to start playing Axie Infinity. So players that can't afford to buy the 3 Axies could join a guild and become a scholar of the guild. And just as an example, YGG, which is one of the biggest scholarships in the Axie Infinity universe, has over 4,500 scholars playing for them. They've got 4,500 teams with players playing around the world playing this game for them. And this has created, many, many jobs within the Philippines and around the world. Just think about what we can do in South Africa with this. How many jobs can we create through this game? So when I started playing Axie Infinity, there were only 10,000 daily active users. It was very, very small. Flash forward to today, just a few months later, and there are over 1.5 million daily active players playing Axie Infinity. Over 1.5 million players playing Axie Infinity, and the game has reached over $2.2 billion in revenue in the last couple of months. So, which is absolutely extraordinary, and many games don't achieve this type of success after being around for many years, where Axie, with just in a few short months, is achieving incredible success. It has been running in a pilot beta stage for 1 or 2 years before it launched this year in its alpha. And it's not so simple to play Axie Infinity. There are lots of skills and strategy needed within the game, because there are these different types of Axies that you can buy. You can buy birds, you can buy beasts, you can buy plants, reptiles, aquatics, bugs, dawns, dusts, and mechs. And each one of these different players have different attack and defense moves, as well as different speeds. And you need to combine your different players in order to attack or defend against another team. And you each get to go one after each other based on your speeds and your powers within the game. So it's really strategic. You have to count cards, you have to count the mass in the game in order to become a good player to win. And when you play, there's 2 different ways of playing. You can play in the adventure mode, where you win SLP for playing in an adventure, playing against a computer and getting further in the game and leveling up your Axies to get further in the game and win quicker. And there are daily rewards for completing 10 wins in the adventure every day. Or you can play in the arena, which is player versus player mode, where you can win SLP for playing the right cards over your opponent. So if you win in the arena, you automatically win SLP, which is real money. It can be cashed out for real money in the real world. And you can also win for playing in the arena during the season, for placing on the leaderboard. There are incredible prizes. And now there are many tournaments happening for Axie all the time where players are playing. Another part of the Axie Infinity game that I learned about this ecosystem that I loved was the idea that you can buy these Axies as an investment, where that they grow in value over time, but you can also breed these Axies. And you can breed these Axies to make more Axies. And that is how more Axies actually come into the Axie universe, through breeding. So when you breed these Axies, it's quite technical as well, because there are dominant genes, there are R1 and R2 genes, and you need to think about, how am I going to breed these Axies to come out with the best weapons, the best attack and defense weapons, as well as the best breed. And generally you would breed, you would try to go for purebreds. So you want genes that if you look at the genes here on the slide, you can see these are quite, there's a lot of impurities within their genes because they should be all orange if it's a beast to have a purebred beast, or should be all green if it's a plant to have a purebred plant. And you want to breed purebreds together to create better breeds out of the axes and better weapons and better resale value, because the better your breed of your axes, the better it will resell on the marketplace. Once you've bred your axes, it takes a couple of days and they hatch. It takes about 7 days. You hatch your axes. Now you can use those axes to form more teams, or alternatively, you could sell them on the marketplace or get somebody to play with your axes for you. The next part of Axie Infinity where was really amazed me was the idea of Lunasia. The whole of Axie Infinity takes place in Lunasia, which is this virtual world, this metaverse that they've created, and they've opened up about 25% of the land in total. This has been something really interesting to watch over time, because a lot of this land goes for selling for hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. And the closer you are to that Genesis plot, that red dot in the middle, the more expensive the land is. To be on those black dots around that red square are millions and millions of dollars. And I just pulled up some of the most expensive mystic plots, which are those blue squares around that map. And you can see some of them are range for a couple of $1 million all the way to a couple of $100,000. It's really, really large amounts, and more than you would pay for physical land in real life. And that just shows you that the type of shift that is happening from the physical to the virtual worlds, and how people are taking note, and investors are seeing this as a future investment ground to play in. And if you think about the actual axes, you have to buy 3 axes to start playing. These are the mystic axes, which are the rarest of them all. There's only 1,453 of these axes, these mystic axes, that were ever created and will ever be created. So out of the 2 million or so axes that have been brought into the Axie Infinity universe, there are only 1,453 of these mystic axes. And because they are so rare, the price of these axes has become a bit exorbitant. As you can see there on the screen, some of them are going for, the most expensive one is going for $81 million. Who knows if he'll ever get that price, but that is what he thinks it's worth. And you can see some of the other mystics are in the millions of dollars and also ranging in very, very high prices. And what this all boils down to is it's all around digital ownership, because digital ownership changes everything. As I said, in the past, there was no way of having this true digital ownership that is verified, persistent, and unique. And because of the blockchain, there's now are immutable digital assets that have become much more valuable, and ultimately gives back the power to the creators, because now there is a way of tracking that creation in an ongoing way. If we think about this in terms of art or music or design, the artists now are getting royalties on an ongoing basis through the idea of a smart contract that programs into the digital asset that idea that royalty will carry on in perpetuity. This was not available before, and now it is, and it's beautiful, and the gates are open, and we are seeing this world just evolve and grow exponentially right before our eyes. And just to understand this a bit better, I want to take a look at the traditional gaming sector for a moment. I really love this cartoon from Gary Larson when he was predicting the future. This came out, in the early 2000s. He was predicting that these parents were, this cartoon's called Hopeful Parents, and they're wishing that their son could get a job in gaming. And what he was ultimately saying is that he thought that gaming would take you nowhere, being a bit satirical in this cartoon. But he didn't know that he was predicting the future of this multi-billion-dollar industry that is on this exponential growth curve. So take it easy on your kids and let them play games as long as they're being responsible. It's a great way for them to embrace the future and to think of this as a development tool and as a possible career path for their life. I don't know if anyone knows Carl Bugger. I love the story of Carl Bugger. He's been playing games since he was 3. He said to his parents that as long as he can get the top marks at school, can he continue to play games? And his parents said, you can, as long as you get top grades. And he's got top grades at school, And you're pretty much looking at the Federer of esports, or the Tiger Woods, or any one of these greats that we know in the sports arena. Because Carl, at 16 years old, he won $3 million at the Fortnite World Cup that took place in 2019. You know, that is already more than Djokovic won for Wimbledon, which is an 150-year-old sport, and more than Tiger Woods won that year for winning the US Masters, which was $2.1 million. And this Fortnite World Cup that took place, it had over 40 million players into the tournament. It was held at the Arthur Ashe Stadium in the USA, and had over 23,000 attendees attend, with a $30 million prize pool, and that first prize going to Carl for $3 million. This is absolutely remarkable to think about how global esports are going to be growing year on year, and we're seeing this growth and this incredible rise of these esports, and now coming in the blockchain gaming arena. And I love this quote from Palm Chang Harris, who says that he was 24 and he won $1.8 million as the runner-up. And he said, "It's great representing the old dudes. Experience and composure trump everything. Fortnite is a young man's game, though." Just think about this guy. He thinks of himself as the old guy in a young man's game where he's 24 years old. In Fortnite, the youngest player is 13, and there's over 250 million players playing the game. What's interesting to think about is that in this new economy, there are more than 5 billion people in the world who own mobile devices, according to the GSMA report. That's 66.5% of the world's population own a mobile device. And of that, there are 2.9 billion people that are gamers in 2021. And of that 2.9 billion, 2.6 billion of them will be playing on mobile devices. And as if we look at the revenues in the 2021 global gaming market, the gaming market reached over $175.8 billion in 2021. Throughout this year is expected to reach, and will hit over $200 billion by 2023. This is absolutely remarkable, and you can see $90 billion of that will come from the mobile gaming sector. And what's interesting about the traditional gaming market is what they worked out is that in 1997, when you wanted to buy a game, you used to pay the full price for the game. You would buy one game, you would get it on a disc, and you would own that game until there was a new release of that game that came out. Flash forward to today, the way it works is you get a little piece of the game for free, and then you pay much more for the different parts of the game. We've seen this exponential increase in gaming revenues because of this new business model. One thing I want to mention about games is that it has huge physical and mental benefits. It helps you with your hand-eye coordination. It improves problem solving and strategic thinking. It expands your memory capacity. It also helps kids who struggle with attention disorders, and it helps kids become more computer literate. And so it has huge benefits to humanity playing games. Even as an adult, I like to play this game called Elevate, which is an amazing way to improve certain skills needed, such as listening, writing, reading, speaking, and maths. You play these very short games that really just help you improve a very specific skill within your writing or within your math curriculum. And it looks at synonyms or subtractions. I've been playing this for quite a number of months, and my maths has never been this good. There are also games like Minecraft, which is an educational game that enhances creativity, problem solving, self-direction, collaboration, and other life skills. In the classroom, Minecraft complements reading, writing, math, and even history. It's very fun and educational, and it's probably one of the best video games for kids, in my opinion, at the moment, Minecraft. So this is something to check out for your kids to really help with their early childhood development. Another incredible example is Roblox. If you look at Roblox, just a year ago in 2020, it was a $4 billion game where it was the value of Roblox. Flash forward a year forward, becomes a $45 billion game in 2021. That is a 10x increase within a year, and is absolutely remarkable. Because if you look at the market cap compared to other online gaming companies, it's very close to a lot of the biggest gaming companies in the world. And a lot of this has got to do with that Roblox has got this increasing daily active user base with 37 million daily active users on a daily basis. That is almost 30 something times more than Axie Infinity per day. And the revenue of Roblox in 2020 is $923 million, which is much higher than its previous years. But even though that revenue is $923 million, they still reported a loss of $253 million this year, which is hard to understand, but it should be short-lived. They should get into profit soon based on their numbers and based on their business model. So that's quite interesting to see what the traditional gaming companies are doing. Let's look at some of the newer blockchain companies that are coming out that I think are going to lead the way along with Axie Infinity. One of those companies is called Gala Games, and Gala Games are making blockchain games that you'll actually want to play. And they have this incredible concept around building these player-owned land games where they want to be the Steam of blockchain gaming and really have multiple games built on their Gala network so that people can go onto Gala Games and pick the game that they like and start either doing play-to-earn gaming or different forms of blockchain games. And they've already got 5 games listed on their site. Spider Tank is meant to be coming out pretty soon. Mirandus is coming out next year and it's going to be one of the most talked about games. Townstar you can play currently already, and that is already out. There's Fortified coming, and there's Echoes of Empire, and they have 8 other games that aren't even listed on here that are in development. In terms of Townstar, they landed up giving away $1 million in prizes in May for players of Townstar. So each week, if you got on the leaderboard in the top 10 or the top 100 or the top 400, you got actual money given to you for playing in this Townstar game. And they've just announced recently that Townstar will be getting its own play-to-earn version in the Townstar game. So you can buy some of these characters, the Vox collectibles they called. You buy these NFT avatars, and you can actually start playing with them to play-to-earn gaming in Townstar, which is being released very, very soon. The next big release from Gala Games, which I mentioned, was Mirandus, which is going to be a massive multiplayer online game, which is player-owned, land owned by players, and it's really, really amazing to see what's going on with Mirandus. There's a lot of hype around this game. Most of the land is already sold out. I think there's still that Citadel available. If you buy a Citadel, you almost become like the king of the game because the Citadel hosts all the farmlands and the homesteads and all the different villages and the towns all sit inside your Citadel. There are 5 Citadels in Mirandus, and some of them have gone for around $1.5 million. The Citadel, I think there's one selling for $3 million, there's one selling for $6 million. It's absolutely just amazing to think about these numbers that are being sold within this metaverse that is only launching next year, and there is huge excitement around it. But based on the team and based on the background of all the players that are involved, people really believe in Mirandus and know that it will be a success in the near future. Also, what's quite interesting about Gala Games and Mirandus is that they have created a very unique node network. Their node network is already bigger than the Ethereum node network, because what happens is if you can go onto Gala Games and you can buy a node, and if you start running that node on your own PC or machine, you are helping the game, the blockchain, create the proof of work. Ultimately, you get a little slice of that transaction fee for running that node, for running the blockchain for them. And they have sold over 35,000 nodes across the world, making their node network bigger than the gaming network. So it's really exciting to see what Gala Games is going to be launching in 2022. The last one I want to talk about is the Sandbox. And the Sandbox is almost like the New York of the metaverse, where you have the biggest brands and players buying land and building experiences that will launch in 2022. Various games, applications, and stores. And what's interesting is that Snoop Dogg just announced a partnership with the Sandbox, where he has building his own virtual mansion inside the Sandbox. It's a replica of his real mansion. And he'll be selling various NFTs, he'll be hosting virtual parties in the Sandbox. And it's really exciting to see that when the big celebrities start jumping into these metaverses, how the communities are going to be following. the sandbox is really leading the way in this field. And as I said, it's like the New York of gaming. If you look at the map of the sandbox, they've got over 10,000 individual landowners within the sandbox that have bought land in the sandbox. There's different parcels of land and different sizes of land. You've got Atari Games, you've got Care Bears, you've got some of the Walking Dead have built a lot of land in the sandbox where they'll be running Walking Dead experiences next year inside the sandbox. You'll be able to play Walking Dead games if you like being a zombie inside the sandbox. And what's quite interesting for us as Man-Made, we went and we bought a little plot of land, as you can see there, next to the South China Morning Post, next to Cyber Kongs. We have our little Man-Made block in the sandbox, and I expect us to be running the greatest content and productions in the metaverse for the sandbox to create the next media company within the sandbox. And just to think about how fast this pace is accelerating in this gaming world, Axie Infinity was only released as an alpha in February 2021. And already you're seeing that it's one of the biggest gaming companies in the world, reaching a market cap of $30 billion, making it the 5th biggest gaming company globally within just a very short space of time. So how is this going to evolve and change over the next year? We're going to be eagerly watching and awaiting. And I really believe that gaming is transforming our world in so many ways, with so many opportunities to explore. We need to pay attention to this incredible ecosystem and industry as it permeates our lives and grows exponentially, commercially, and converges into our everyday tasks. We can use gaming to change the world and contribute to making people's lives better. We just need to ask ourselves, how can we play the right way so that we can all win? Thank you.